Hi everyone, Dipper Pines here with Rhyme Signatures, the nerdiest music review this side of being repeatedly traumatised by an eldritch triangle-shaped god. And today we are going to be doing a review of the new White Ward album, False Light. Do you ever get those moments where everyone and their mum seems to be completely raving about something? Like, every corner of the internet you frequent will not stop yammering about it, and no matter what you do, you just can't seem to understand the hype. That was me with Ukrainian outfit White Ward's latest album, False Light. Pay very close attention to my phrasing there. This has been, without a doubt, one of the most difficult albums for me to get into in recent years. The last time I struggled to really understand a critically lauded album like this was Between the Buried and Me's Colours back in 2007. But I came back to False Light again, and again, and again. And I remembered my struggles with BT Bam's magnum opus, and how it now stands as what I consider to be one of the best albums ever made. So I figured if there was so much buzz about False Light, then surely there's got to be some credence to it all. I am extremely relieved and very happy that I came back to this album to give it a proper go. False Light is ostensibly a black metal album, but this isn't your dad's black metal. This is the freshest, most interesting and most rewarding black metal record I've listened to in the better part of a decade. And I get the hype now. I feel that this doesn't just match its critical praise, it exceeds it. The record is defined and driven by its typical black metal values, with strong, aggressive vocals, frenetic drumming, and aggressive guitar work, but also thrives on its jazz interludes that in some ways remind me strongly of the Disco Elysium soundtrack. We're talking full-on Miles Davis jazz too, not just the tenner-penny instrumental bands who cite Pliny, the Contortionist, or Scale the Summit as their main influence and play that ever-so-common, super-complex and intricate clean guitar work that lacks any real soul or personality. We're talking dark, smoky, jazz club jazz, the kind you smoke a cigar to, nodding along slowly before turning to the camera and whispering, "Nice." It's an incredible juxtaposition of styles, and one that I'm all here for. To go from machine gun blast beats and black metal screeching to something you'd probably find your dad vibing to on a rainy Sunday afternoon, it creates what could easily be a violent tonal whiplash, but White Ward makes it work. It's sweet and it's sour, it's blunt and sharp, it's kind and it's cruel. The vocals are quite varied throughout though, striking out from just shrieks and growls to embracing the deep Leonard Cohen-esque crooning on tracks like Salt Paradise that demonstrates that White Ward aren't done yet with their genre blending. The jazz continues though and really invokes the vibe of like an old private investigator film, like The Big Sleep or The Maltese Falcon. Salt Paradise serves as a brilliant palate cleanser after the onslaught of the opening track Leviathan, and it helps to give you a second wind for the intensity that is to follow. The dark synths that bring you into the third track, Phoenix, feel quite reminiscent to me of Stranger Things, with their mood and atmosphere, whilst the huge sounding bass works well in conjunction to emphasise the horror-style mood. And just when you think it's getting too spoopy 5me, the brass instrumentation floats over the top of the groundwork, sounding like a fog rolling in over the moonlit docks in the dingiest part of the scabbiest of cities. It's oddly relaxing and in some ways curiously comforting. The record creates an atmosphere almost effortlessly. It is soaking in it. For every single incredible riff, brutal drum fill, or blistering solo, there's just as much emphasis given on creating something textured, thick, and near tangible. This record is dense, and it's very, very hard to appreciate after a single listen. This doesn't just ask for your attention though, it needs it. To understand where this album is coming from, where it's going, and what it's trying to accomplish, you have to give it the attention it deserves. So it's time to crack out your best headphones, lock the door, turn off the lights, no distractions. Just 66 minutes of your time, and I guarantee you'll emerge a different person by the end of it. I will confess that it took me about 7 listens before I started to get False Light. I was either listening to it in the background while working, gaming, cooking, whatever. And I could feel that it was a good record. I just wasn't understanding just how good it was. I mean, please don't make the same mistakes I did. Set yourself aside some real time to appreciate this. It's like a good wine. You don't just neck it back, or mix it with Coke, or dilute it with ice cubes. You've got to let it appreciate. You have to savour it properly. And if you give False Light its dues, listen to it properly with no distractions, it will probably sink its claws into you as well. This record isn't just relentless black metal and jazz though, as there's also some really great melodic moments on offer, but it has to be said that despite the overall feeling of chaos and brutality, the whole flavour of this album feels simultaneously consistent and even, but also kind of at odds with itself, swinging from one extreme to another. You may love this, you may hate this, but you can't deny that it's incredibly bold of Whitewater to mix the various style, genre and instrumentation patterns that they have done, and just how tonally sharp it all sounds as a result. Nothing here sounds muddy or fuddled. The production is very deliberate and precise, but manages to skirt around the problem that I find ruins a lot of otherwise great albums, that of overproduction. It's all done very tastefully and everything feels like it fits together beautifully, like a really, really angry jigsaw puzzle. I also like how it never feels like it's outstaying its welcome either, despite the length. It always knows when the right time to sucker punch you across the jaw is, when the right time to slow things down is. A 66-minute long record of nothing but the brutal elements would be exhausting, and I don't think it would make for an enjoyable record to get through in one sitting. As things are though, the peaks and valleys are truly what make False Light flow so beautifully. The clean singing sections on the album, especially on the track Kronos, are very strong, and always feels appropriate to the tone of the moment. I mean, sure, whilst there's never any aspirations to reach the lofty highs, falsettos, range and power of someone like, I don't know, Tommy Karavik and his ilk, I feel the record would suffer with vocals like this. This isn't power metal, you know, this is ultimately black metal. As things stand though, the cleans are comforting and they fit the album perfectly. I suppose the best way to kind of describe this record would be black metal jazzcore, kind of. It's sort of like if Emperor had a beautiful baby with Louis Armstrong and made Between the Buried and Me the godparent. It would be easy to get fatigued by an album of this intensity given the over an hour length, but testament to the pacing and structure of False Light, it never lets up or drops off in quality. The title track, the penultimate song, is a thing of extraordinary excellence and serves as a really welcome reward for sitting down and taking your time with the album. I've not listened to a record quite like this in many, many years, and it stands as one of the most rewarding experiences I've had in music since the earlier mentioned Colours by Between the Buried and Me. So please, please don't sit on this record. Please listen to this. I can only hope it hits you as hard as it hit me. So, what else can I say about False Light at this point? I mean, this is by far and away one of the best things I've listened to, not only in 2022, but the 2020s so far. It is a rich and exciting album that really gives up the goods if you're willing to put the time in to understand what it's trying to say. You might feel that maybe you've not the patience to make an album that's over an hour in length click for you. And that's fine. I understand that. Music doesn't and shouldn't always be this grand mountain to climb to get to the rewarding summit. But if you're looking for an album that really gives back the more you give it, then you will be really hard pressed to find anything better this year. This is all, of course, my opinion, as you know, so tell me what you thought of this record in the comments down below. If you have anything else you've listened to this year that you think I should check out, then do let me know about it, and hey, maybe I'll get around to giving it my own thoughts. If you like this video, please do thumb it, share it with anyone who you think might enjoy it, and of course, as always, please do consider subbing for some more content. Until next time, guys, keep your rhyme signatures odd.